Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Obviously you can tell by looking at me I'm pretty dead tired. I've been playing Classic WoW non-freaking stop. What's new, right? Classic WoW has been out for the last month and I've got to say it is still the funnest game I've ever played. I literally can't get off the computer. Also this week I haven't shown, but I've got a Hollow Ichigo tattoo. Very well done, very expensive, I love it. Should probably put my money towards better things, but god damn it, I've been wanting this since I was 14. I love Bleach. As you've read with the title, this is the story of how I held, I'm guessing it was a volleyball team. I don't know, it was a big group of fucking teenagers hostage. And it's kind of funny how that goes. Whenever I was the GM of Van Alstyne, Texas, I had maybe 8 employees because there's only like 800 people that live there. And one of my employees was a guy named Jonathan. Now there will be other Jonathan stories on this channel at some point, but if you need to get a visual idea of what he looks like, if you ever seen that Disney show Recess, he looks like Randall the Snitch, and he walks like this whenever he's walking. I shit you not, he walks like that, but whenever he stops he puts his hands down, but he walks with his hands like that, like a fucking velociraptor or something. He was one of my servers. I only had like two or three servers and like one assistant, but basically I used to work a whole lot as a GM, and I lived an hour and a half away from my building, and basically I didn't get a lot of sleep, so I was always really tired. So one day my assistant was asking me if he can go home early and not close, and I was like, let me take a nap for 3 hours and I will do it, because I had opened up the store, so I was there at 8 a.m. and we closed at midnight, so I did not want to be there for, you know, a whopping 14 hours. It's understandable, right? You don't get paid if you're on salary, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Everybody knows that. So what had happened was I was going to go take a nap, and I was going to go sleep outside of my car. I had a Fiat 500, so visualize my 6'2" ass trying to sleep in the back of that for a couple hours just to get some rest. But before I went outside, this big group of like 20-something kids came in, and they were part of like some kind of group. I'm assuming it's a volleyball team, because there was like a lot of girls wearing shorts, but I don't know. I don't remember. It's been like 4 years since, you know, this happened. But they came in and they were wanting to order and dine in. So Jonathan was like, "Oh, that's a lot of people," and I was like, "I'm already clocked out. Like, you're gonna have to have fun with that one. Just have Dustin help you, whatever." And I told him to like make sure you let them know that because there's so many of them, there's a gratuity charge, because I know that teenagers have a bad habit of not tipping, because teenagers are always like, why would I tip? This is my $6 that I have. And like I said, the store was so slow and Jonathan was the server, he needed to get tipped. Like, he wasn't like the best server, but I mean he was okay. So Jonathan let them know about the gratuity charge, and I was like, alright, I'm going out. I'm gonna be back in like 3 hours. So I went outside, got in my car. It was like 30 degrees outside. I think this was in like February of 2015, I believe. And I got in my car and I was just like, oh god, this is a stupid decision. So I'm like sitting there shivering, and then I ended up falling asleep because I was exhausted, of course. I'm always exhausted. That's a recurring thing in my life. Sorry. It was like 3 hours. I wake up and I'm like, oh, my back is hurting. I get out of the car. I'm rubbing my face. Like, you know, like it's like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I think. And I go back inside and all those kids are still sitting at the tables. And I'm like that. And I go up to the front counter and I'm like, are they done? And Jonathan's like, yeah, they were done at like 40 minutes into being here. Because apparently all they wanted was like a couple breadsticks and a drink. Like every one of them wanted drinks and breadsticks. And I was like, so why are they still here? And Jonathan goes, oh, I told them about the gratuity charge, and they don't have any money to tip, so they think that they're going to get arrested. And I'm just kind of like, why would they think that? And he told me, like, oh, it's mandatory. I told them that they have to pay the gratuity or they'll get in trouble. And I'm like, why the fuck would you say that? So I go out there and I'm just like kind of awkward because I'm like half awake and my shirt's not tucked in anymore because I just climbed out of a car from sleeping. and I see all these fucking kids, and I'm like, have you guys paid? And they said, yeah. And I was like, all right, then you guys can go. And they were just kind of looking at each other because I guess they hadn't seen me up until that point. And they slowly started getting up and they were walking out. And we had to clean up the whole dining room because, you know, they're fucking kids and they threw shit everywhere. There was like Parmesan cheese at tables that they didn't even sit at. And just like trash everywhere. And just like, you guys just had breadsticks. Like, how? I don't understand how you managed to accomplish this feat. So we're over there like cleaning it up, and it's like 30 minutes later. I get a phone call from my mother, and she's asking me like, why was her kid stuck at my store? And I explained to her that I went on break, and my server told them about a gratuity cost, and they kind of freaked out. But I wasn't at the building whenever this happened, and she was understanding. She goes, oh, okay, I see. Well, you should probably explain that before they sit down. I'm like, we did do that. I'm sorry your kid didn't tell you that, because I did make sure that Jonathan told him that before I went outside. It was the next day. Let's see, this goes over to the next day. I'm at work. I'm just kind of like dragging my feet because, again, I had to open, because I used to have this opener named Jose who can never fucking show up to work for the life of him. And I know people would be like, why didn't you just fire him? It was a town of 800 people. Nobody's applying. So even if I fired him, that just means I have one less person to help. Him being at work occasionally is better than nothing, because I had no help in this fucking building. All my staff was teenagers, by the way. I was like 24, 25 when this happened. No, I was 24, yeah. No, so anyways, like, I'm at store, and I'm like, I was like cleaning or wiping the table or cashing somebody out. This fucking mob of like 15 men came inside this building, and they were all the dads to these kids, and they came in here like trying to pick a fight with me, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, Jesus Christ. And they were asking me like, are you the manager? And I was like, yeah. And they just started like harassing me, and I was trying to explain my end of it, and they were like calling me shitty and shit, and I'm like, I wasn't even fucking here, you dumb shit. And they're like, what are you going to do to make this right? And I'm like, I'm not going to give you guys free food for this. You're crazy. Like, no. Technically, your kids even pay the full amount that they were supposed to pay, because there is a gratuity cost if you have 8 or more people come in. You have to tip 15%. It's only fair to the server, regardless if you get bad service. That's just how Pizza Hut was. And I had to argue with them because I was like, your kids even pay that. Like, I had to help clean up the mess. That's not my job to do. I don't want to help clean up the mess. I will volunteer to clean up the mess to be nice, but I don't want to have to go out there and do it because there's so much fucking damage to my building. And the parents kept like saying, oh, my kids didn't do that. And I'm like, I wish we had fucking cameras, because that fucking restaurant was destroyed. There was so much garbage and shit. Like, again, they're eating breadsticks. I don't know how you can make such a big fucking mess. There was marinara sauce on the ceiling too. I remember that. But of course, you know, like, they didn't want to take that. They didn't want to listen. Like, oh, my kid would never do that. So they were like cussing at me, and one guy was starting to take me outside, and I was like, you're like 5'3". I'm 6'2". I'll step on you. Yeah. And all this happened, and then they were talking about going to the City of Commerce, or the Chamber of Commerce, to get me shut down or whatever. The City Council, and I was just like, every one of them filed a complaint with corporate, so I had to deal with a lot of fucking paperwork. Yeah, I hated being a GM, by the way. Money does not rule me. I do not care about it. The only bit of money I care about getting is enough to like take care of my family. Anything else, I don't fucking care, because when I get extra money, I get fucking anime tattoos. I'm fucking tired, guys. Alright, thank you guys for watching. There's a little bit more to that story, but it gets into some dank areas, and I'm not really sure YouTube would allow me to talk about that. But again, thank you guys for watching. It means a lot, and I will see you guys in the next video, whenever that'll be. Goodbye.